When driving on open ground, following a few simple guidelines will help you make progress while minimizing damage to the terrain. If there are no established tracks on the ground, try not to follow the tire marks of vehicles that have covered ground before you, as this can eventually cause unwanted tracks or ruts. If tracks have already formed, it's best to stick to them. On wet grass or other slippery surfaces, engaging the manual differential lock and selecting a higher gear will reduce the risk of wheel spin. Spinning wheels will impede your progress and damage the ground. Remember that first gear in high range is roughly equivalent to third gear in low. Apply smooth and gentle pressure when accelerating and braking. This will help maintain traction by preventing wheel spin. If you're climbing or descending hills on open ground, drive straight up the hill and not at an angle. This will help keep the vehicle as stable as possible. When you return to the road, it's important to reset your vehicle's controls. Reinflate the tires if pressures were lowered while off-road. Return terrain response to the general program setting. This will automatically adjust the vehicle's computerized systems for on-road driving. Select high range and reset the air suspension to normal road height, although it will lower automatically when the vehicle speeds up. Disengage the manual differential lock, making sure the warning light has gone out. And make sure your lights, license plates, windows and mirrors are clean of any dirt. It's particularly important to make the correct preparations when driving over difficult, rocky terrain. You should select the lowest possible gear in the transmission's low range if fitted to give you better low-speed control. With terrain response, you should select the dedicated rock crawl mode, and vehicles with air suspension should be raised to the off-road height. Try to be aware of the position of your wheels and ground clearance as you approach each obstacle. It's a good idea for someone to check your progress from outside the vehicle, acting as a marshal to guide you on the best course. It's wise to keep your thumbs on the outer rim of the steering wheel. This will help prevent any injury should there be any sudden kickback. Use only the lightest throttle pressure and don't let the clutch slip. This will let the vehicle crawl forward smoothly rather than moving in sudden lurches, so increasing your control. If your Land Rover has traction control, you will gain the most benefit from maintaining the throttle at a low engine speed. Drive will automatically be diverted to the wheels with the most grip, typically those in contact with the ground. Your 4x4 information display will indicate if the wheels are at the limit of their suspension travel, the point at which traction control is most likely to operate. In this way, your Land Rover can achieve gentle, controlled progress over particularly rough and uneven ground. Articulation describes the amount of a vehicle's vertical wheel travel. All Land Rover vehicles have excellent articulation, which means their wheels can be kept firmly in contact with the ground for longer, delivering maximum grip when driving over undulating terrain. When driving in these conditions, keep your speed down by staying in a low gear and use the brakes gently when needed. Be aware of your ground clearance at all times, if possible, raising the air suspension to help ensure you avoid grounding the vehicle. Land Rover models that feature air suspension are also equipped with cross-link valves. These channel air to the suspension unit of unladen wheels, so keeping them in contact with the ground for as long as possible. You will find that your vehicle's traction control is likely to operate in these conditions. When it activates, the way to get the most benefit is to increase the throttle slightly, allowing drive to be diverted to wheels that have the best grip. There is a right and a wrong way to tackle a deep ditch. If you drive into a ditch straight on, you risk damaging your vehicle and getting stuck. The correct way is to drive slowly, engaging the manual differential lock and ensuring the indicator light is illuminated. Using the lowest possible gear in low range where available will give you maximum control. Approach the ditch at an angle of about 45 degrees. This means 3 wheels will be in firm contact with ground at any time, so maximizing traction. The differential lock will further increase grip, helping you negotiate the hazards safely.